Hi guys, welcome to the channel How to Choose. Okay, in this episode we are going to see about how to choose smartphones. So nowadays everyone is using a smartphone, and we have to consider several things before buying a smartphone. For example, let's take several features, several things that come to our mind when we try to buy a smartphone. Like, or else you can put it in some other way, like several things which I would consider while buying a smartphone. For example, first let's talk about the features. Okay, I will consider some features. Okay, then performance, then price. For some people it might be called as budget. For some people it's called price. Then the goodwill of the smartphone, brand you're trying to buy. Other things like value for money. So these things play an important role when we try to decide for which smartphone we are going to buy. So these are the things which we should consider, or which I would consider while buying a smartphone, or which we're trying to choose a smartphone suitable for me. Okay, in these things, those things are marked as star, are considered to be like most of the important things. Value and goodwill varies from person to person and varies from brand to brand. That when we consider the features, performance, and price, these are very personal to each and every one. For example, a person who considers features might not consider price. A person who considers price might not consider features as well as performance. A person who considers performance might not consider features as well as price. Okay, let's see let's break down these things and see the most important things which we should consider while buying a smartphone. First, performance. Okay, so most probably, all the smartphone manufacturers nowadays, they they advertise performance based on only few things. Those few things are like processor. Processor or SoC. Okay, what do you mean by processor or SoC? Processor is the heart of the mobile computing. It is heart of any computing processor. Why do we include the term SoC? SoC means system on chip. Like in today mobile phones, it doesn't use processors in a directly raw form. It uses something called system on chip. The system on chip is nothing but a processor and several other peripherals are integrated into a single chip. That is known as system on chip. Okay, when we are considering the processor, there are several brands like Qualcomm, Huawei, Samsung, and MediaTek, which manufactures these system on chips or processors. Okay, when coming to processor, we have to consider something called CPU. You also know about CPU, like central processing unit. In case of mobile phones, we can call it them as cores. Okay, so cores are nothing but the basic unit of any processor. Okay, so when you're considering cores, any processor, like any system on chip or processor, consists of several cores, and these cores are arranged in multiples of two to undergo parallel computing. These combinations include dual core, quad core, hexa-core, octa-core, which means 2, 4, 6, 8 cores, as well as something called deca-core, which means 10 cores. So what it means, like, number of cores is directly proportional to the performance as well as multitasking. So when number of cores increases, performance as well as the multitasking capability increases for a smartphone. Okay, so is it all common when considering a like processor as well as performance? No, we have to consider some of the things like while considering the processor. Like, as I said, when we consider cores, there is something called, like, there are the types of cores which are available in the market, like Cortex cores made by ARM. So this company makes something cores called Cortex cores, which these are like Cortex cores are nothing but these companies make some like architectural implementation and design of these cores on a silicon wafer, and companies like Qualcomm, Huawei, Samsung, and MediaTek like get the architecture from these Cortex cores and then implement on their system on chip or processor. Okay, apart from these, let's keep it aside. Apart from these, we have to consider several other things while considering the performance or like the CPU. The other things include clock speed, fabrication size, as well as SoC peripherals. Okay, what is meant by clock speed? Clock speeds are nothing but the clock frequency which are given, which drive the course. For example, let's consider an example like Snapdragon 625 SoC. This is one of the famous SoC which are used in MI like Redmi Note 4, Redmi Note 5, Moto G5s Plus, and Asus Zenfone 3, and several other popular devices. Okay, this is one of the familiar and famous SoC. This SoC consists of octa-core, which means 8 cores. 8 cores are nothing but 8 into Cortex A53 cores. There are 8 Cortex A53 cores. The Cortex cores are made by ARM. 8 Cortex A53 cores which are clocked at 2 GHz. Okay, let us consider another example like Samsung Exynos 7870, which consists of octa-core like 8 Cortex A53 cores which are clocked at 1.6 GHz. So when we are considering the cores, they both are on the same cores, like they are made up of 8 Cortex A53 cores. But when you're considering the clock performance, this is clocked at 2 GHz and they are clocked at 1.6 GHz. So this means that this processor is capable of performing more compared to the 1.6 GHz like underclocked Cortex A53 cores of Exynos 7870. So these minute things has to be notified like while you are trying to buy a smartphone. But there are several reasons for these underclocking and overclocking or nominal clocking to be attained in a smartphone. They are independent of, they are market dependent, like battery dependent, and the resource availability, considering each and every different products that are available in the market. Okay, apart from these, let's see other things like fabrication size. Like the Redmi Snapdragon, like Snapdragon 625, which we saw is made from 40 nanometer FinFET technology. So this is considered to be 30% more power efficient like previous generation of processors made in 28 nanometer process. So fabrication size also plays a major role. Apart from this, SoC peripherals. As I said earlier, these companies make something called SoC. So SoC is nothing but a processor along with certain peripherals. These peripherals might include something like modem, image signal processor, digital signal processor, and other things like Bluetooth chip, Wi-Fi module, then GPU, that means graphics processing unit. So these things also should be considered while considering a smartphone based on the performance. Okay, let's go to the next. Consider the features of the smartphone. So what do you mean by features? Features include features is something like which is personal to each and everyone. The most common features nowadays we see in a smartphone are like camera, RAM and storage, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, NFC like AI means artificial intelligence, screen size, quality. Okay, considering the camera. When we are buying a camera, we generally evaluate cameras based on their megapixels, which is something totally wrong. And behind the wood, there are several things you should consider while considering the camera megapixels. For example, take a Pixel 2 XL with a camera megapixel of 12 megapixels. Consider some other smartphone which has 21 megapixels like Moto G5 Turbo. Considering these two smartphones, when we take in the sense of megapixels, Moto G5 Turbo has 21 megapixels, while the Pixel 2 XL has 12 megapixels. There is a drastic difference, but then the photo quality produced by Pixel 2 XL is far more better than the photo quality made by 21 megapixels some other camera. So while considering the camera, the real life the practical performance varies depending upon the software used, depending on the quality of the CMOS sensor used, and depending on the lens system used. So while considering camera, just try to make sure that you are considering the optimal solution based on the real life performance. You can see a lot of camera-based performance testing done by several YouTube channels. These might be helpful. Then comes RAM and storage. Obviously, more RAM means gives you the capability of multiprocessing, multitasking, and keeping the apps running behind in the memory. Then storage will help you to run huge apps and store a lot of data which you create day by day by using the phone. Then Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. There are several bandwidths of Wi-Fi like 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. So consider while buying a smartphone, just make sure that your smartphone has latest Wi-Fi technology, like all the Wi-Fi bandwidths available, as well as the Bluetooth, like Bluetooth version above 4 and above. Okay, then comes NFC. NFC is not so popular nowadays, but these also sometimes are considered to be like some personal features that some people need in their smartphone. Then AI. Recently, there has been a booming in artificial intelligence. Like Snapdragon has introduced a separate series called Snapdragon 700, which includes a AI core in their processor. And Apple has already introduced like neural engines, like neural networks inside their Apple A10 Fusion chip. Then another thing to be considered is the screen size and screen quality. Considering the screen size and screen quality, it is based on personal preference. Some people like compact phones with higher resolution. Some people like huge phones with lower resolution. And also it is directly proportional to the price as well as the availability of the smartphone. So consider buying a full HD smart. Like there are several screen qualities available, like HD, Full HD, Quad HD, and Ultra HD, like 4K. So full HD resolution might be nominal as of today. But then when you're going for premium smartphones, consider Quad HD or like Ultra HD mobile phones. And there is also something like LED displays as well as LED displays. Nowadays, due to the advancements in technology, both LCD and LED are performing in a similar manner. Okay, let's consider something like 4G bandwidths. So this is one of the major confusions available now with the persons. For example, consider Redmi Note 4. When you are trying to access Redmi Note 4, like using a Vodafone 4G mobile SIM, there may be you may not find the 4G coverage in several areas. This is because the fact that Redmi Note 4 doesn't support the bandwidth called 40 or bandwidth 40 of the 4G spectrum. That is 23,000 MHz, which is used by Vodafone in several areas for the implementing the 4G technology. So while considering a smartphone, these are the 3, 5 and 40 are the bandwidths which are used in India. So consider a smartphone which uses these bandwidths while choosing a smartphone, so that your smartphone is 4G ready everywhere, like in every mobile operator's features. Okay, finally let's talk about the pricing. So price plays an important role in like whenever you're trying to buy a smartphone. For some of them it is just price, for some of them it is just budget. So while choosing a smartphone, just consider what is necessary for you. Don't choose something that you don't need, so that you can save money. So when price is not your concern, then you should base your choices based on features as well as performance as well as goodwill and value. But considering the price, I would suggest you to just ignore these two and combine these two to get an absolute smartphone for you. So thanks guys for watching this video. I hope this is useful for you to buy a new smartphone. In case in future, just subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, like how to choose something. Thank you.